My name is Finn, and I am your AI host for today's freebie episode. In today's episode, the guys have their most philosophical episode to date. They discuss cemeteries, cremation, evolution, and if animals have souls. The Pickle and Boot Shop. We hope you hate it.
Joe and Reese and Pickle and Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joe and Reese and Pickle and Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles.
Free your grandma and your kids.
I go downtown.
Free your grandma and your kids.
Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids.
Pickle and Boot Shop.
Stay for the squids. Boots.
Pickle time.
Put that pickle in your pants. Get some booze inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some booze inside your hands.
1996, we start this.
3, 2, 1. We're starting, ladies and gentlemen. We're back.
Joseph, is that you?
It is. It is. I got a haircut.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. I no longer
From
have
last
the
week?
locks. Those
You did have-
lovely lady locks.
You did have those.
I did.
That was impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. So episode
Ladies
28.
and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 28 of the Pickle and Boot Shop.
This is the energetic episode.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the episode of the 28 of the Pickle and Boot Shop.
We want to thank our listener for coming back and tuning in.
John Reese will be hosting you tonight.
And we'll be giving away our baseball cards and stuff. Because why even have them?
Why even go on?
Why wouldn't go on? I'll just give my baseball cards away.
I already gave yours away to Gary.
Oh, then,
It was Gary Sinise.
oh,
I hope you don't
Lieutenant.
mind.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah. I was like, he's like, hey, Reese, it's Gary. I was like, Gary Busey got real excited. And then he was like, no, it's Gary Sinise. And then I was like, all right, do you want just baseball cards? Gave them to him.
And then he was like, I'd rather have my legs back.
He did say that.
You
Oh my gosh.
He's like,
Were
no,
you
you're
listening
gonna get a
in?
Cal Ripken Jr. rookie card. And he's like, but I'd rather have my legs.
I was like, well, maybe you could put it in your spokes of your wheelchair. And I'll go click, 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 click.
Yeah,
That's what he did.
yeah. So, how the
So
heck
anyway.
have you been? How you doing?
I'm thinking about not drinking.
Yeah? As you're slamming one down.
No, this is just ginger ale in this one, but I'm trying to clear it out because maybe I'll put some Don Q in there.
Oh,
I made
there we
it a
go.
day.
There you go. I've been doing really well. I'm not
Still not
I'm-
drinking.
No. When I went camping, I had a drink. So my streak ended at 11 days and I had a drink while I was camping. Then I did 2 more days and then had a drink and then I haven't since. So
And you don't have the shakes.
Yeah.
All good
I'm going to
things.
go August. I'm going to go August without. We have to come up with something, they say like
I put way
sober,
too much rum in
sober September or dry December or something like that people always do. We have to
that.
what can we do for
Dishonest August.
Dishonest August.
Yeah, I quit drinking. Totally.
Yeah, totally. No, I don't do that anymore.
Ladies, do you know how much money I make? I don't like to talk about it publicly, but it's, well.
It's up there. We're talking 4 figures.
We're talking 4 figures. Ladies.
We are talking 4 figures and the high 4 figures.
Mhm.
That's a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of which, tonight is the big Powerball jackpot.
It is.
It's like $1 billion. Can you even
Again, I thought that somebody won that.
No.
What? They announced it. Somebody won it, and now they didn't.
Oh, maybe they did. I was thinking it was like $1 billion. I thought the drawing was like tomorrow or something.
Hey Google, what's the Powerball jackpot up to?
I don't know, but I found these results on search.
Google, you're as worthless as Siri.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, what's the Powerball jackpot up to? She showed me a bunch of stuff too. Powerball.
Don't you hate when they don't read it?
Right. Now I have to do your job for you. That's winning numbers. It doesn't say how much it is. 95 million, Joe. Somebody did win it.
Oh, they
Hey,
did
look.
win it.
If I got 95 million, I wouldn't cry about it. One bit.
But not even 95 million. Somebody won. It was like 900 million.
I know.
That's crazy. Like
That is
I
what
can't.
my friend Joe says, bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even think of like having that money. That's the type of money that like you being a socialist gets like upset about. Like
I am
someone
upset about
having-
people having that much money.
Yeah. Like that is
You can't spend it all.
that is crazy. That's literally you could take 100 million generational youth, generational wealth, your entire family. Take 100 million, put it in the bank. Your entire family is taken care of for the rest of their lives. Oh, thank you.
Right.
And you still have $800 million to give away, to start programs.
Right. Think about like right now, you have $100 million. You put, like even with poor interest rates, say you're just getting 3% interest a year. For every 10 million you put away, you're making $30,000 in interest. No, I'm sorry, every million.
Yeah, I was
You're making
million.
$30,000 a year in interest.
Yeah.
So say you're just like, hey, look, I kind of want to live a crazy life where I'm making like $20,000 a month. Like this is the craziest life I want. So what is that to make
like 12 million in the bank?
Yeah. 12 no, it's not even that. Okay, so 30,000 a year. You're talking about 240, so 8 million. You put $8 million in the bank and then just live off the interest. You're still making $20,000 a month off of that. Just, that's insane. That's insane money right there.
Yeah.
You could do that for everyone in your family, like all your cousins, your grandma, with 100 million.
Yeah.
Everybody could have that much money. And you're right. You still have $800 million left.
Now, I know people are going to listen and they're going to go, well, Uncle Sam is going to take half of that. Like, I get it, right? Like, I get it. But let's just say your $1 billion jackpot winnings, you still make 600 million.
Yeah,
you could put
32%.
Yeah, 100 million aside, and you still have $500 million.
Yes, it's still stupid
to quote
money.
unquote play with. Like you could set up anything you want, just like you said, off of the interest. You could set up a business that it's like my business by just having this money in its account is going to generate 30 grand a month, to cover this, to cover that, to cover this. I mean, it is unbelievable what you could do with that money. And somebody got it.
Somebody got it. Hopefully they do good things with it. I when I get to be my socialist self, I just don't understand billionaires. I don't understand how that is ethical. You know, like I get it. You wanted money, or you did all these crazy things. You earned it. That's fine, but there's no way you can spend it all.
Yeah,
There's no possible way.
I agree with you in the sense that I don't think anybody should. We've talked about this before. I don't think there should be a limit that one can have. If somebody wants to have all the money in the world and they earn all the money in the world, that's on them. They earned it. But
Yeah.
it comes down to that person. Like, what are you going to do with it? And if
Yeah.
somebody buys sports teams and they buy an island and they buy the biggest diamond in the world and they buy a golden toilet, like all this stuff, like
Still have
Like
so
what-
much money left.
like why you can only be in one place at one time
Yes.
and you own an island, like just all that stuff. Like, and then people start to throw. So like, let's say the billionaires right now, like the billionaires club, they're like going into space, right? They have
Mhm.
nothing else to do with their money except they can build a rocket now.
Hmm.
Same thing. Like, and what's that rocket going to do? They want to get to the point, I'm guessing, they want to get to that point where that rocket can go anywhere in the world, right? So, quote unquote, space flight, anywhere in the world you can get to in 90 minutes if you can get high enough in the atmosphere, right? So
Okay.
instead of having because once you're in space, like once you're in that atmosphere that the space station is in, it takes 90 minutes to go around the Earth one time.
Okay.
And that's around the equator. So if you're going up and over, say with like a rocket, and you're going from New York to England, I mean, you could get there in like a half hour. You could get there in 20 minutes, by launching up and over, because you're going so high up and then coming back down. So it's like, I could only think that that's what these billionaires aren't trying to get to Mars. Like they're trying to get the
I think
next
Elon
level.
Musk is.
What's that?
I think Elon Musk is. I don't know if he himself wants to go.
But like, I tend to think that those guys are doing it to be the next, for a lack of a better person to put up on a pedestal, like the next, like Wright brothers, to say,
Yeah.
how can we now monetize this? Like
Yes.
we have this rocket and we can now like the people that went down to the Titanic.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like how we're going to spend our billions of dollars. We're going to spend hundreds of millions. Think about that. Hundreds of millions of dollars. They can spend $800 million, which isn't even a billion. And then they're worth like 10 billion,
Yes.
and these people are building these spaceships, these rockets to do what? To then monetize it, to then make the money back that they spent making the rocket,
Yeah.
or to be even wealthier, because let's just fast forward 50 years into the future, they've now, or 20 years into the future, they now have the capability of hypersonic travel,
Yes.
So, like-
it's bananas.
So the Concorde was supersonic flight, right?
Mhm.
So the Concorde was supersonic flight. Now, because the French invented the Concorde, like they did that. So what did the US do? And like other countries, like they made all these regulations that like the Concorde could only land at like 3 airports in the US.
Right.
And it couldn't go over certain airspace, and it couldn't do that. So it essentially grounded that project because
Yes.
the US didn't come up with it. And that was supersonic flight. If someone could come up with hypersonic, that again, you're not going over per se, like you're not traveling east and west, like you're going up and then over because of the rotation of the planet, because of everything. And you're doing hypersonic flight. Like, that's crazy.
It is crazy. And I think that may be fine. That's like a goal of them. Still, they're not going to spend all those billions.
No.
Still, they're just hoarding wealth. And I don't feel like it's ethical. I don't know. I feel like we should make some sort of really cool reward, like a gold statue in Washington, D.C. if you become a billionaire. And you can, however many you get, then you're the champion. Like, let's do that. Like, let's make these statues. They can cost $10,000.
Well,
Then you can be the champion, but you got to give that a billion.
I think to people who have a soul, and I'm not saying billionaires are soulless, okay? So let me rephrase that. I'm saying for people who are compassionate and think of like the greater good,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think for me, if I had billions of dollars, like a gold statue would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, I'm already helping. I've done what we've just laid out, what you just laid out. Our families are set up. Our families are never going to want ever again. We're going to live very comfortable, if not above comfortable lives.
Yeah.
Probably never have to work again. Mortgages taken care of, vehicles will always have vehicles that are very reliable, can always go on vacations, can always afford the food that we want to eat. There may not be excess as far as like, I'm going to drive around a Rolls Royce or whatever the super expensive cars or things like that.
Yeah.
But you're going to live an extremely comfortable life.
I think if you have $100 million, you can live like that.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Easily.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you absolutely can. But
you can have anything you've ever wanted.
Correct. But then if you're taking the other 500 million and you're creating programs, you're buying homes for people, you're building like communal living areas,
communes,
or you're building apartments and things like that, and you're taking care of the rent and you're paying out of your own dime because of that money. You know, the water bills are set for life, the electric bills, like people don't have to pay their utilities and things like that. And if you were to set those things up, for then the government to say, hey, because you're a billionaire and you've done amazing things with your money, we're going to do a gold statue for you. That would be the most embarrassing thing for me ever. And that's the thing. I just think it comes down to scruples. I think people get to that position because they're cutthroat, and probably the skeletons that are in their closet are probably pretty friggin' embarrassing. But on a smaller level, I know people who make hundreds of thousands a year and are some of the most generous, amazing, heart of Christ people. You know what I mean? And they do amazing things with smaller amounts of money, paying for kids to go to camp, creating scholarships so kids can go to church camps or things of that nature, and just having people over for a nice big like Christmas party, and they pay for the food and they pay for the drinks.
It's nice.
Just to get people together, because people make the money that can cover that cost. But I think for billionaires, you either have it or you don't. And I think the billionaires that we don't know about, or the people who make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions, but maybe haven't hit billionaire status, the ones we don't hear about are the ones probably doing the most with their money. But we hear about the ones that are, they're just investing and they're doing all this stuff to make more money and to make more money and to make more money.
I hope so. I hope there is like this shadow network of 100 millionaires that are doing good, or even billionaires you don't hear about. I don't think it's ethical to have $1 billion. And I think those people have already made that jump. They're just like, there's, like I can't stop people from being poor. They're that way because they made poor choices, or because, like if I give them all my money, they're just going to lose it.
Like how many people, because what comes to mind is like in India, they still have like the caste system, right?
I think it's illegal, but it still exists.
Okay. So whenever I see movies or documentaries or things like that of people in India, there's like all those like shanty towns,
Mhm.
and it'll just be like tons of people living in absolute freaking poverty next to a huge multi-million-dollar skyrise that literally houses two people. Like
Yeah.
two gajillionaires live in a high rise, and they each have like half the building, and they own 80 floors, all sorts of stuff, all these cars, and they look out their window at these like these little towns. So in a place that has a couple of billion people, or however many people are in India, 800 million, I don't know what it is,
I think it's 1 billion.
billion people. So if you had a billion people, if you're a billionaire, and there's a billion people, I wonder what it would cost to I wonder what the cost of living per year in India is. So if in India, if somebody can get out of poverty and just live a normal life for say like 30 grand in American money,
Mm-hmm.
how many of those families, so you're worth $3 billion or whatever, how many people, so say 30,000, so say like $2 billion divided by 30,000. Like that's how many families you could take from those villages, and like, I don't know, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
You know?
It's crazy just to think of like the just the ethics of that income disparity. You could still be rich beyond your wildest dreams and not be a billionaire. Still have everything you could ever want, everything attainable. You could still have your own jet. You can still have a chef. You could eat whatever you want, whenever you want, go wherever you want. Have so many houses, and a yacht, and just all the things. You could always be on vacation and still have money to give away.
Yeah.
Like it's too much.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I'm 46 years old. Since I've been like a teenager, to fall asleep, there were times where whenever like a lottery got up and, it was like, oh my gosh, the lottery's at $5 million. Like, back in the 90s,
Yeah.
it'd be like the lottery's up to $5 million, $10 million. You're like, oh my gosh. And I would lay in bed at night, and to put myself to sleep, I'd go through the whole thing. What would you do with 10 million? And I'd be like, I'd give so-and-so every, like this circle, my inner circle, each gets this much. The next circle gets this much. I would do this. I would do that. And then as you get older, I would still do that. In my 20s, to put myself to sleep, I would do it. And in my 20s, it was like, oh my gosh, I would get a suite at like Little Caesars Arena so I could watch every Red Wing game, see every concert that comes in there, do all that. And now, like in my 40s, I think like what we're talking about here. I just think like when I lay down and I'm like, what would I spend $600 million on? I don't even think about like a suite for the Red Wings or a yacht. Like I'm
Or
literally
the
trying
Red
to
Wings.
create programs to feed people, to quench their thirst, to share Jesus. Like this is like, those are the things. And it used to put me to sleep. Now it doesn't put me to sleep, because now I sit there, I'm like, what would I do with all this? And I think of all these people I could help. And then I'm like, well, I don't have that money. And so now I've like worked myself up to where I can't do anything that I just said I wanted to do. It's easy to fall asleep when you got the sugar plums dancing in your head. Like, oh, I could go to every Red Wing game. I could have a real cool truck. And then you
Yeah.
fall asleep thinking about your wants. But then you get older and you're like, what's my legacy going to be? And
Yeah.
and how many people could I help? And then you're going to sleep thinking about helping all that. And then in reality, you can't do any of that. And so
Yeah.
then I can't sleep.
Your legacy is that you were in a Christian ska band.
Yeah.
That's worse. That's the
Right.
worst thing you'll ever have.
I want my headstone. Well, I don't care about being in a cemetery, but just for the sake of the bit, I want my headstone to be an angel doing the like skanking position from like the Specials album as my
Be careful,
grave
Joe.
marker.
Do your kids know about this?
What? Yeah, it'll be in my what's it called? Diary?
tell.
No, what's it called?
Diarrhea.
What's it
Will?
called?
Your
Will.
last will and testament.
Yeah, my last will and testicle.
Dude,
What do you think about cemeteries and stuff in 2023? Do you think
I-
there's
I
need
can't be
them
funny when we have questions like this.
No.
Do I think what?
Do you think in 2023, do you think cemeteries are still relevant?
I don't believe in cemeteries. I think it's such a waste of space.
Me too. That's what I
mean,
think
like-
too. I've thought this my whole life.
Yeah, I think you should get cremated. It's
Yeah.
selfish to take up that space. It costs more.
Yeah.
It's more of a burden on your children. Dude, my dad did the smartest thing. My grandma did this too. You can donate your body to science.
Yeah.
So they'll use you in med
Like
school,
Edna.
and then they cremate you. It happened real quick for my dad. It was like 3 months. They'll plant a tree in your honor. Cool.
Yeah.
And then they cremate you for free. So for free, like my mom got cremated, that costs like $6,000,
Yeah.
which is a bargain compared to a
Burial.
like a burial and a funeral.
I see, man, it's like prime rib. I see cemeteries and burials like prime rib. It's an old person's cut. Like my mom's generation and my
Mhm.
grandparents' generation, they buried their dead and they go and they visit their dead. And on their birthday, they go and they leave flowers at that grave and stuff. Well, my mom's generation didn't. Like my mom, I bet my mom could count on one hand how many times like she's gone and seen like her mother's grave.
Yeah.
Like it just it kind of ended with like my mom's generation that maybe some of them did for a while, but then others didn't. And now like our generation, I see absolutely zero need. I've never gone like on my own. There's never been a holiday. There's never been anything where I thought, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go to the cemetery. I'm going to go to so-and-so's grave. I'm going to clean it off. I'm going to put flowers on it. I'm going to spruce it up. Like that person is in like my memories.
Yeah.
Like I have everything I need of that person in my memories going somewhere that, again, you paid thousands of dollars to dig a hole and put them in it.
Yes.
And I am never going to go to that place ever for the rest of my life. Not because it scares me, not because anything like that, just not because I just don't do it. It's not on my radar.
Because that
not,
person is gone.
They're gone.
Right. And when you go, how depressing is it? Because you see, okay, here's this new grave that I'm at to go see Uncle Fred. But then there's like 90% of these graves are falling apart. They're eroding, like sure, there's some trust set up where they're doing lawn care and stuff. But like the people that were attending to that grave and were coming to see those people's uncles are gone. They're in the graves next to them.
Yeah.
There's nobody doing it. That's depressing. I think, I mean, I think part of it is just like it was human culture, like to bury the dead for a long time. But then I think like in modern times, there's like it's in Thessalonians, there's some verse about like God, like pulling back the, like rebuilding the bodies of the dead, like meaning, you know, he'll raise the dead to life, which it's fine. I think that has fueled a lot of Catholicism, like a lot of saints saving their bones and all this stuff. But like, do you really think God needs your help? Like to do that? If that's the miracle at the end of days, you know, like, do you think that he's like, okay, only these people are coming back, but the cremated, no.
Yeah.
Because I can't find those molecules.
Yeah.
Also, those molecules are in people now. Like the molecules of the dead, buried or whatever, like they're dispersed. They're in living beings and in humans now. It doesn't make sense. It's most likely figurative. If it's literal, cool. It's God. He can do it.
Because I don't know I don't know the history of burials and funerals.
Mm-hmm.
Was there I'm going to caveman this. I'm just going to walk through it real clumsy, and then we can try and clean up what I'm trying to ask. Did they bury people because of a health issue? So like in olden days, you know, was it obviously bodies are stinking, there's not formaldehyde. Well, I mean, I guess there's mummification, but for most people around the world, there wasn't that. So, but now that I'm saying that, it's not like you go to the Congo or Australia and wherever there's been tribes of people forever, they don't have burial sites. They had what? Funeral pyres?
Some people do. Yeah, like different.
Oh, I guess you're right. Like Native Americans, they'll find like a Native American like cemetery.
Yeah,
and then they'll
depending
on
the
they'll
tribe.
build a McDonald's on it.
They did pyres, like they would put you up on stilts, up on your teepee,
like Vader, like Anakin.
Yeah, or they'd burn you. There's another thing, but like one of I think anthropologists, like one of their markers of religion is that when they started finding hominids that would bury their dead, because it signified that they believed.
For the people that don't know what a hominid is, what is a hominid? I thought that was like where you put like a noun next to a vowel.
That's a noun next to a vowel.
What's a hominid?
So like a proto-human, if you believe in evolution, which I do. So the anthropologists would say that like this is culturally significant, that that these early humanoids, these early intelligent apes, which we are also apes, they would you just rolled your eyes. We are technically apes, Joe. They would bury their dead, and that signified that they believed that there was something in that body and they wanted to preserve it, or there's some meaning in that person, in that animal's death, or that person or ape's death. So it's like a marker for anthropologists to say, yes, like this is where we started to believe in an afterlife, or we believed in the soul. Here's what's trippy is we're not the only beings that do this. Elephants do it. They take the bones of their family members and their friends and they move them to one place where there's more elephant bones, and it's like an elephant graveyard, and crows do it. And both of them are considered to be highly intelligent. What's trippy about elephants is they were just like, elephants, they go like, "Brr," sometimes. Well, then somebody got the idea to go record them with like a subsonic microphone, and they found out that elephants are talking to each other, like they're communicating in these sounds that we can't hear with our ears.
It goes,
But they
I
were-
walked into a bar and she was right there waiting, leaning up against the bar when
That's
she
what it
was
sounds like.
perpetrating.
But like, I just think that's fascinating that we think like we know everything about humans and souls and like this whole notion in Christianity that I don't know. You rolled your eyes when I said I believe in evolution.
Well, I mean, I don't. I didn't roll my eyes at that point. I rolled my eyes when you said we're apes.
We are apes, Joe. Technically,
We're just human beings.
we are a type of ape.
You know-
Whether that ape was just like created at one point in time or created over 9 billion years, we're still designated apes.
Here's the thing that I always find amusing is when people take an animal that
Mhm.
does something unique and then applies it back to humans, like how you did. Like you were like, elephants take the bones of their dead and put them together.
Yeah.
And people usually, not saying that you did there, but people usually say that as far as like, see, like humans aren't all that. Other things do that. And then I sit there and I think like, yeah, but like an elephant doesn't build a house with an upstairs and paint the walls and run electricity and have flowing water into it and
Yeah, sure.
figure out the internet and all that stuff. So I always find it humorous. And that's the extent of what I'm saying. I find it humorous when people take these like unique things that like one or two or maybe three animals do and then be like, this is the most amazing animal on the planet.
Well, definitely, I think we are the most amazing animals on the planet. I think that like you can find really cool things about all the animals. Like, yeah, there's some gross ones, but like the fact that we've gone through most of our history thinking that elephants are beasts of burden or just like,
Isn't that a
Valuable.
Rolling Stone song?
yeah,
I didn't realize it was
Yes.
about elephants.
no, but like we just have used them like for our gain, and here they are, like they can communicate with each other, and they not only that, they like have some thought on the afterlife or the like passing of their souls.
Why do you say that? Why do you think that?
I mean,
Because they pull their dead into the same area, just like a dog would generally poops in the same area.
yeah, but
To
this
not
is like
spread that. Like
there-
I
it's-
wouldn't be like, oh, crows and elephants do this.
Yeah, yeah,
they must have the afterlife figured out. Like
so
I would just
someone
think
might.
they do that.
Well, I think like there is a skeptical part of science or humans that are just like it's also really difficult to talk about
With me.
souls within the spectrum of science because it's just not accepted. It's just not. It's like
No, I get what you're saying there.
it's like ripping a fart in church. You know, like nobody's going to listen to the sermon because it smells. I feel like scientists just kind of are averse to conversing about it because not just that it can't be proven that beings have souls, but just the connotation that you're kind of floating your religious bias onto them,
Right.
which may not be. You know, I just feel like this behavior that elephants have, where they collect the bones of those they seem to be associated with and seem to love and have compassion for, shows that they feel like that being is gone and they're taking care of its bones. Crows do the same thing. Here's another trippy thing, dude. The orcas, like recently within like the last 10 years, they started picking up while following these pods of orcas, you know, like killer whales, that they were following fads that each other had. Like
they had, swatches.
It was almost
a checkerboard van.
A dead seal. One of them would kill a seal. And
they
put
went
a
down
dead
the
seal
Mariana
on
Trench, and there was a hot topic.
They would put a dead seal on their head and swim around with it. And then the other guys would try and do it too. And then it would go to other pods. Like they'd see this behavior and then they'd try and mimic it. So again, like there's like most scientists are like doubtful. Like they can't be that intelligent. Like they can't be like this is too much. We're not ready for this. So recently in the Mediterranean, they have been in I think around Spain, like in the Atlantic, these pods of killer whales have been attacking boats. They think it's a learned behavior. And they think there was like one female that was like the head of one of these pods, and she got caught up by a boat motor and then attacked this boat. And then they've taken it on as a behavior. But it's like
a TikTok challenge.
Dude, it's like warriors, and it's like gangs of of killer whales, of orcas attacking people's yachts. It's cool.
Yeah, I think I've seen some videos of that stuff. But here's my other thing. When we talk about animals, let's say somebody like my mom. Like my mom's not going to sit down and like read about animals and like kind of these things that we've just talked about in the last 10 minutes. So my mom will hear, say, this podcast, and then she'll be like, oh, cool. Elephants do this and elephants do that. And she may elevate, like elephants and crows. I'm just saying my mom, but you can use any example. Anybody, a young person, anybody who listens to a show like this, they hear something like that, and then they go and tell their friends, like, yeah, an elephant does this and does this, and it must have more of a grasp on this, or orcas. But like, to me, I think you can bust out any animal. And the study of any animal shows that bird, fish, mammal, reptile, each one kind of has like that unique, amazing thing that they do. And so like, this isn't like, I'm not saying any of this to like argue with you. Like there's zero argument. I think it's really cool what elephants do. I don't think I would go down the road of like the spiritual end and like the, kind of that. But I mean, like beavers, like making a dam, like no other animal builds a dam that I know of. Maybe a duck-billed platypus, maybe I read that on the back of one of those wildlife cards that you got when you were a kid from like Time Life books. Do you remember that? Yeah. You got like the recipe book, recipe card holder, and then you got the cards of the animals. But I just think like everything kind of does something special. And I think if you take the time to study like you could take a finch, you could take a starling, you could take a squirrel. And I think they each have these like crazy abilities that if you take the thing that makes that animal unique, you can, I guess, kind of, I don't want to say bend the narrative, but I mean, I guess you could infer that these creatures are doing this unique thing that they do for a specific reason that we as humans may attribute to some sort of higher brain function. Whereas like for me, I just think that's just what they do. Like I don't think like the elephants are thinking about souls and have a deeper connection with it than like we as humans, or it's even to the level of we as humans. I just think they move their bones together because that's what they do.
Oh.
You know, but I think there are some unique animals that do some unique things that I think the orcas, like, I think that's fascinating. You know, I think it's fascinating that elephants and crows move the bones and stuff like that. It's just cool that they're wired to do that. That's how I look at it.
So, like, we do this with dogs and cats. Like, we're not, nobody who has a dog or cat is just like, that's just what dogs do. Like you realize because you're around that thing that it has a concept of itself. Like, however basic their decision-making tree is, that thing is aware of itself and it's aware of you and your relationship to it. And like with Grimm, Grimm's, I don't want to see he's a person, but he's got a definite personality.
Yeah, for sure.
He's his self.
Right.
He's a thing. Like,
correct.
And like, I just, like, me as a Christian, I'm like, I see that. Like, there's beauty in that animal's soul is cool. It is funny and different, you know, like what I know about Grimm is like he could care less if he drowns. He wants to go run around in the water.
In the lake.
He's a funny dude. He's got some breathing problems, but he's not aware of it.
What do they call it? COPD?
Yeah. I mean, I just think people with pets, they can see that. Like, there's something in there that is, it's more than just like a like a response to stimulus. There's something in there that is a being, and it is making decisions based on the fact that it is that being. Like, it has a personality and makes choices based on that. And to me, I think that is like a very small soul. I don't know. I mean, like, so going back to like me believing in evolution, I'm also, I also believe that, like in the book of Genesis, I'm not saying that I don't have enough faith to believe that God could create the world in 7 days, but like in the Hebrew, the word is yom, which means God created the world in 7 periods of time. And I think when you read through it in the Hebrew, the way that it lays out the wording, it talks about invertebrates kind of leading to vertebrates, to like snakes and amphibians. And then came these beings that had souls, which were birds and mammals. And then finally man, after all this. And the Hebrew wording is way more descriptive than just like, yeah, there was light. Then there were some birds and there were some animals and plants on the land. It's really descriptive words that I don't think any other archaic language besides Hebrew could have held. And so I just see the beauty in that. I see the beauty in thinking that, like, instead of just God snapping his fingers and all this stuff coming into being, that like there was planets smashing into each other, that like our moon was a planetoid and smashed into the earth, and then while it was cooling, and then it got into into our orbit and brought water, and because of this, like we were able to have life, and it cooled the earth. And then after 9 billion years of just this slow churning evolution of chromosomes, like slowly mutating and becoming things. All of that had purpose, and it led up to us. I think that is beautiful. And I don't think you can say it contradicts that. I think that, like, the wording in Genesis is, especially for us, it's like been translated into, it was translated into Greek and then Latin and then French and then English and then English again to make it not so, royal sounding, to get out of the King James. But like, it's just people's understanding of what they knew. And I think that, like, now we have all these ways of looking at life, and it lends to how beautiful God is and how beautiful creation is. And I think part of that is just seeing, like, elephants they have souls, and we've been treating them like pack animals, and we've been harvesting them for ivory. We can still fix this, but like, they feel things and they communicate with each other, and they, like, they've done studies on the hormone levels in elephants when they see humans, and it's the same as when we see our dogs. Like, the same chemicals get triggered, where elephants feel like we're pets to them. Like, that's really cool to me. I love that. It makes me feel like we're so small, that, like, God made this really beautiful and brilliant world, and we're treating it like we get to just use it for whatever we want, when really, if we just look at it, we can see him in it. And it's amazing.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a bunch of plot points there that you bring up. Like, I don't believe, we'll take the last one that I believe you made there.
Yeah, you're talking too much.
No, like, because I think we talked about the first, like, the souls and stuff like that. Like, I absolutely like believe that a dog or a cat, you walk through the door and they get excited that you're there. Mm-hmm. I think when a dog, if you own more than one dog, like if one of your dogs dies, the other dog knows that something is up, or you see two, let's say, squirrels running around, and one squirrel gets hit by the car, the other squirrel runs up to the other one that got hit by the car and is like chattering at him, like, why aren't you getting up? Like, where'd you go? Or it might be crying out like, oh my gosh, my buddy is gone here.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. I understand that. I believe that. I guess in my mind, if I had to, like, in my crappy brain, and I know our listeners probably always connect more with you than with me.
That's bullshit, Joe.
No, I honestly think so. But
no, they don't.
But I think, like, for me, I think there's, like, levels. So, like, let's say we as humans, with our emotions, the way we think, the way we can create, we can build, we can do all that stuff. Let's say we're at a 10, right? We as beings are a 10. As a species, we're a 10. I think other animals are, like dogs and cats can be a 2 or a 3, where I definitely think they have emotions. They have, I guess I would use the word feelings, but I don't think it's to the extent that, I don't believe, like, when I'm with Grim, when I'm playing with Grim, when I'm doing that, I don't believe in his head it's a Disney movie. I don't think there's, like, a Disney movie inside of his head where he's like, oh, dad's home, that means blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And then there's this narrative voice, and he's, you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm getting at? Like,
exactly. I'm with you on that. I don't think the thought process is as high.
Yeah. And so,
but I still think it's more than we attribute to animals. Like, I feel like the I think that it was, oh gosh, dang it. I read an article about this so long ago, but I think like for us to be able to hunt animals and for survival and to kill for so long, I think there had to be this kind of overarching like narrative that like man is dominant over them. You know, like we've got to be afraid of, what are you most afraid of? Lions. We got to kill them all. Mountain lions, wolves. We have to. And now we're to this point where we don't, you know, like we're not really that afraid of lions. You know, if you were
Well,
in
it used to
room
be
with
survival.
lions-
Like you had a lion outside
Exactly.
your hut or your village. Your kids, your wife, your husband might not be
Yeah.
coming home the next day.
Yes. Or
Right.
even like, I mean, even in the 1900s, you could be in Montana and die from wolves.
Yeah.
You could die from mountain lions. I mean, in Colorado, every once in a while, a jogger will get it from a mountain lion. I mean, it's still real. It's just like, we don't have to have that narrative anymore. We don't have to just be like, yes, we beat them.
Right. A jogger
And so-
doesn't have to go out with a bow.
Yeah.
Like a jogger can
Or
go out
even
to
like-
jog.
We don't tell each other cool stories about beating animals and like fighting lions and shit
Right.
like that.
Exactly.
Because it's not in our current like mindset.
Yeah.
We don't need to. And so we're at this point where we're like, we can look at animals in a new light. We're not fighting against them to own the earth. Like we're fighting ourselves more to not destroy it. So like if we're like elephants, are we scared of them? No. What are they doing with their bones? Like that's interesting. Crows, like are they an evil symbol of death? No. They're birds. Sometimes they can talk. Like in English or whatever language you speak, they can learn it. They bring gifts to people.
Well, they
Like
can't
for
learn
food.
it. They can't learn it. They mimic it. That's the difference.
No, they can speak.
No.
Like yes,
no. They
yes,
can, no.
no. I promise you, Joe.
You
they
cannot
can learn
teach
it.
a crow to because
You're
to
talking about
speak-
parrots.
No, because
They
to
mimic it.
speak, you have to learn an entire language. You have to learn and, thus, conjunctions, nouns, verbs.
Okay,
They
so
can't
they
do-
don't speak the Queen's English, but they speak English. Like they can communicate with English or whatever language they can communicate. It's like parsed out. It's just a word or this, but it's not mimicking. It may be a word they learned from a person, but they can use words to talk. It's crazy. And so like, this is the thing. Like either we get stuck in this mindset of like, we got to beat all the animals,
No.
stuck in this, or
Well,
we
wait,
can be
wait,
like,
before you
this
move
is
on.
real cool, man.
So before you
I
move on,
think there's something more in there.
I would agree that if a crow, just like a mouse who touches a button to get a sugar cube or whatever the thing is, I think if a bird learned that if it said more, then it was rewarded with something, then that bird would then say that word to then get its effect.
It's more than that. It's more than that. Like it's like, I think crows can learn somewhere between 20 and 100 words and use them correctly to communicate. It's crazy, dude.
I would have to see. I'll have to look that up because that just
Think of
that
other
doesn't
apes
seem-
that learn sign language. Like it's well documented that apes can learn and communicate with sign language.
but it's very basic.
Sure. I mean, like, I'm not saying they're humans. I'm not saying
But,
they're
like-
on the same level intellectually, but like,
Right.
there's
But-
something.
But what I'm saying is like
there.
the same thing with like a baby. Like the big thing in the last 10 years, 15 years is when you have a kid, before they're talking, you can get them to say more. And all the parents nowadays, they have their kids. I don't know if this is called pursing or what this is called. And then they put their fingertips together and the kid says more, more. And you give them more Cheerios and they say more, more.
Right.
And so it's like you do this, you get this. Has that child learned sign language? No. That
Sure.
human baby has not learned sign language. It's
They
learned that
learned a couple words.
it does this thing and then it gets more Cheerios. Or it gets more of milk of what they want. So like with gorillas and stuff like that, it's that same thing. Like gorillas aren't learning a language. They can't start to then have a full-on conversation and go like outside of what they can say more. They can say, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling,
Yes.
all of those things.
Yes. I'm sad because
Yeah.
my cat is gone.
Yes. I'm
a
sad.
gorilla can say that. Like I like abstract thoughts. That cat that was here is dead. And the Coco, the most famous
Yeah.
gorilla that knew sign language, had a cat named Alball, and cat got out of the zoo and got hit by a car, and Coco was able to abstractly talk about the death of that cat. That's the thing. You're skeptical because you've been taught to be like that, because so much of our society, so much of us as humans was like pushing that down because we have to beat the animals. And we eat the animals. Like that's another thing. Like it's real easy to be like pigs are tasty and bacon is good, but like how much are pigs aware? They're supposed to be smarter than dogs.
Well, wait. Go back to Coco. So Coco also painted, correct? One of those
I think
gorillas
so.
painted. And I always thought it was funny. I watched the documentary and they went over the sign language and they went over all this stuff that the gorillas would do. And they gave, I want to say it was Coco. They gave like Coco a canvas and paint. And they said, Coco, like paint, like, we want you to paint this. And they put a fruit bowl, bowl of fruit in front of Coco and had Coco paint it. And on this documentary, they talked about how this gorilla was just so high brain function with the way it could paint and all this stuff. And when it came time to reveal it, they revealed the painting, and all it looked like a 2-year-old played with paint. There was no,
Okay.
They were like, this is the fruit bowl and this is the painting. There was no
You
connection.
could make the connection.
No connection between the two of them.
You think that was wishful thinking? It could have been.
Well, here's the other thing. So then they ask it to name it. They asked Coco to name the painting. And then they went on for another 2 minutes about how amazing it was that the gorilla named the painting. And so here it is. You look at the painting, and if you were to look at the painting first and then go, okay, you see this, see what it was going for? This is what we set out. It was not anything. Like there was zero connection. And then when they asked it to name it, the fruit bowl that the gorilla painted, the gorilla named it by signing Stink Gorilla More. And it was a bowl of fruit. And so he was like, what do you name it? And he said Stink Gorilla More. So after the Insiders ended, I ran a community center, and we had a band that we called Stink Gorilla More. And we would like cover all these like kids songs for like kids that came into the community center or whatever. But I always thought that was so funny, is that this documentary was just talking about the high function of this gorilla. And the whole documentary just kind of ended with this whole painting scenario. And it was the biggest letdown for me. Cause I mean, I'm into the sign language. I do like the sign language. Me and you might just be splitting hairs. I don't call it speaking. I just kind of call it communicating, like the basic, it can communicate
Call it communicating.
basic things.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's my point is that, like, there are animals without our interference that are communicating with each other.
Oh, everything communicates with each other. Everything.
No, but I mean, like
if we study
abstract
caterpillars,
thoughts, like, let's put this dead seal on our head, or let's attack boats. Like, that is more.
you don't think
than
that
we're
would just go
giving
back
them.
to the old monkey see, monkey do?
What is that, dude? Like, what does that mean? Like, monkeys are communicating with each other.
Well,
And
you
that
just
we're
see somebody
giving-
do something and you do it.
To me, I see in this, like, this
So, like
is
if I went and smacked Andy's wiener, like walked up by him and gave him a swat, and you saw me do that from across the room, and you're like, that looks funny. And then you
it
turn
definitely
around
does.
and then you turn around and you
would.
do it to Scott.
I would do it.
You know what I
to
mean? That's monkey see, monkey do. Like there is no communication. Like I wasn't like, hey.
I
you
know.
gotta do
Well, there's
this.
no verbal communication, but there is communication. Like, there's probably nonverbal. Like, this is funny. We all get it. It's funny, and like, this makes me seem cool with these guys.
See, what I want to know is the animals that don't make noises. You know, so like obviously all animals that communicate on tones that we as humans can hear or that we can't, I get that. I want to know about like a caterpillar. Like a quiet little caterpillar. How does that communicate with like another
Pheromones.
caterpillar?
Pheromones.
Like
And that's more like just
that's fascinating to me.
okay. That's cool. All of this is fascinating to me, and
It is me too, yeah.
what I love is that it makes me think that God is big.
Me too.
I like that. I mean, I don't. I'm sure I upset people by telling them I believe in evolution, but
I don't think you did, not on this show.
oh, okay.
If you tell people that you made a mousetrap, people are going to come to your house with pitchforks and torches. But on this show, if you said that you believe in evolution, I bet more people that listen, I bet our listeners more believe the way you do than believe not.
Well, maybe they can write us on the diabolical discussion page.
It's topics like this that usually get really good discussions churning on there.
Yeah, I just got Instagram. Have you heard of it? I mean,
Yeah.
following
Yeah, what happened?
following us on the Instagram.
Oh,
Did you know about it?
no, I don't know what you're talking about. You're on
Yeah.
Instagram?
I'm
Is that what
on
you're saying?
I got an Instagram.
Because of your archaic way of speaking about technology, I'm lost as to what you're saying. Someone tagged you in something or you started an account?
I started an account.
Oh,
I think I had it.
okay. But you just figured out your login.
Yeah, I found out my login, and then I got on our. I still don't see the point in it, except that I didn't see the point in Twitter, and then I kind of was like, "Yeah, it's all right." But now I'm into it. I'm Brian Reynolds. I can chat with him right here. I just chatted with Robert Gay.
So you
How's-
guys, at the end of the show, we've had some stellar conversation.
it
And
just
in
went
15 seconds, it devolved into Reese in 2023 figuring out that he can communicate with his fans via Instagram. Not fans, friends, family, fans. All right, you guys, you got 9 extra minutes out of this one. So if you haven't signed up for Patreon, please come on over. We're going to do another hour. Reese is going to talk about some song that he wrote and the background behind it. And I am going to talk about a song that I wrote and the background behind it. So come on over, sign up for Patreon, and have a good time with us.
and have a good time. Everybody remember to have a good time. This is Reese Roper signing it out. Did that sound like I was drunk?
Oh, you're not?
Good question. Piece of pizza.